Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, a upcoming strategy and turn-based war game which takes place during the American Civil War and allows you to fight as either the Union or the Confederacy, raising armies, assigning commanders, choosing domestic policies, and then also when two armies meet, you're able to move in and fight battles tactically. This is our Union Let's Play series, and it is October 1861. I'm assuming the campaigning season is beginning to draw to a close. We'll see how the AI acts in the winter, but I do know moving in snow and other things like that do give you penalties, per my understanding. So I would think things will start slowing down soon, and maybe give us a chance to sort of refit and choose different policies so we can start getting like corps in our armies. But in any event, we just won a battle in Eastern Virginia against the South Carolina State Militia Force. They had about 20,000 men. We inflicted about, I don't remember, 3,000 or 4,000 casualties or so on them, and we only lost about like 1,800 men. So it was a pretty nice little victory for us. The Army of the Potomac under Major General George B. McClellan is no longer ready for campaigning. You can see the readiness is deficient. They did burn through a fair bit of ammunition. The depots around them are pretty diminished in terms of their ammunition and other things like that. So we'll probably have to wait before any kind of pursuit. Plus, the enemy does have another 13,000 men down near Richmond. The Army of the Tennessee is approaching with about 22,000 men. So that's about 35,000 men. Plus, the Army of the Potomac is going who knows where, another 6,000 men. There's all told about 60,000 Confederates in this area, countering our 22 or I guess 28,000 men when our wounded return, and then about 8,000, just shy of 9,000 troops in the valley. So we're pretty heavily outnumbered by at least 20,000 men. We probably need to raise more troops, but right now my focus for this episode, I think, will be in West Virginia, where General Don Carlos Buell appears to finally be ready. His readiness is excellent to move on Grafton. And then we're also going to go ahead and send the army of, or the department of rather, which I can't seem to click on because there's too many icons in here. The Department of the Pennsylvania, which has about 10,000 soldiers as well. They're going to move south toward Grafton, and they're going to converge there. There were about 30,000 Confederates there not that long ago. I'm guessing, especially with the removal of the Army of the Tennessee, that it's relatively unoccupied. But at that point, we've already occupied sort of Charleston, West Virginia, and what's this town down here? Lewisburg. So I think if we can manage to take Beverly and we can take Grafton, West Virginia might break away from the Confederacy, and Clarksburg here. That's the bulk of Virginia west of whatever this river is. And so I think that might shift West Virginia. That is one of our strategic goals here, is to capture West Virginia. That may shift that over to our side. We'll see. We also are moving troops in Kentucky. General Grant, Army of the Cumberland of about 15,000 men, is moving toward eastern Kentucky to retake London. And then the Army of Kentucky under General Bull Sumner is currently recruiting about 18,000 more troops. They only have about 5,000 troops, but they are going to move south toward Bowling Green to secure the southern part of the state that the Confederates did occupy. Our river squadron at Cairo is currently under siege, and so that's, I guess, an issue. Their ammunition is down, their provisions are down, their coal is low, but you can see here the enemy is blockading them down there. It does say the blockade is not terribly effective, it's at 3%, so I'm guessing that we're probably okay. But we are also recruiting, or not recruiting, but we're building 3 tin-clad gunboats to go with our building 4 tin-clad gunboats to go with our 4 timber-clad gunboats. So we're building a fleet there. And we recently defeated the Missouri State Guard in front of St. Louis, and they are presumably retreating, and we have ordered a pursuit. So that's the situation right now. Let's go ahead and see how the advance in West Virginia unfolds and get going. Tomorrow's video will probably be different. We'll see if my opponent responds, but I am currently playing I just started. There's a tournament going right now for Panzer Corps 2. That is like a 300-person tournament for Panzer Corps 2. I think it's like they're calling it like the World Championship. So I think I'm going to be doing my first round match on the channel, although I'm not sure when that will start. It all depends on when the opponent responds to me. They've got like 20 days for us to resolve the battle. So I am looking at showing that off, though, a little bit. Cotton trade is slowing down. European demand is increasing. Record cotton prices. Europeans demand cessation of hostilities. Confederacy slowing the cotton trade. Doesn't seem to change the intervention percentage. You can see the Department of Pennsylvania and the Army of the Ohio are both converging. Whoa, what just happened here? Battle of the Atlantic has ended with the James River Squadron retreating. The engagement was a remarkable strategic victory, with the enemy fleet steaming to the safety of their harbor. 3 ships have been sunk. The condition of the enemy fleet is believed to be alarming. My fleet has suffered 3 sunk, including the USS St. Louis, Sabine, and the condition of the fleet is intact. Okay. Where was that? Is that down here? So I forgot that I had ordered, I didn't think I sent him to Fort Macon, but I had sent a squadron down to bombard the fort on the southern end of the Hatteras Inlet. And it looks like we engaged an enemy squadron. But I kind of feel like we need to RTB. If we really lost 3 ships sunk. 91%, 92%. It's kind of confusing though, because it said 3 ships sunk, but then it also said I lost 3 ships sunk. So we lost the Sabine, the St. Louis. This is the confusing part, is the newspaper report said 3 enemy ships were sunk. Engagement is remarkable strategic victory. The enemy fleet steaming to safety. Okay, so both sides lost 3 ships sunk. Well, that would be the entire Confederate fleet, wouldn't it? 3 and 3. So where are these guys going? All right, so we're bombarding Fort Macon. It's hard to really track damage when you do something like this. The naval side of things is very vague. So as the fort conditions at 85%. My own ammunition is we're burning through that. Condition of my ship seems to be okay though. Fort conditions still 100%. It is smoking pretty damn good. I'm not super sure like to what extent the battle there matters. Like all that bombarding doesn't seem to be doing much, but our armies have converged. So it looks like the Department of Pennsylvania has arrived first with its 10,000 men and 14 guns. The Army of the Ohio is on the way with 54 guns and 31,000 more troops. It'll take 6 hours for them to arrive. Once they arrive, we'll have a numerical advantage, 39,000 infantry versus 25,000 Confederates. But initially, it's going to be 10,000 Federals versus 26,000 Confederates. So this should be an interesting battle. We probably don't want to race into it. It's 1,800 hours, so it's almost the end of the day anyway. So let's see what the Battle of Grafton, Virginia here ends up unfolding into. This could be a pretty big thing. 42,000 men under the command of Major General Patterson. The Confederates have 27,000 men under the command of Major General Johnston. But again, as a reminder, those 30,000 of our troops are not yet on the field. Supply situation of our army is outstanding. The enemy army is green and morale is reported to be eager. We're facing the army of the Shenandoah under Joseph E. Johnston. He has 13,000 men plus the reserves that are going to be coming up, presumably. Okay. And there are 3 objectives. We are on the offensive in this battle. Bottom Heights, Watermore Ford, and Rutledge Ridge. All on the southern end of the map. I'm assuming this blue icon here represents where Buell may come on the field. So to that extent, I think we should make a move for Rutledge Ridge. So that when the larger reserves do arrive, that we're able to unite our forces. Move over here to be by the roadway. And then let's move the entire Department of Pennsylvania down here toward this town. Although, interestingly enough, the fact that it gave me that deployment option in the southern part of the map, I don't see any entry points that we would own. It looks like they'd still all have to come on in the north here. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Either way, we're going to make a move for Rutledge Ridge, that objective first. Then maybe we'll cross the river south near Depew and try and flank and hit toward Bottom Heights and Watermore Ford. We could also send a small force to pin them in front of this bridge here near Watermore Ford, or Fruel. That's the end of the day. Okay. Buell has arrived. Okay, supply situation still outstanding. And Buell's troops have arrived. All right, so they arrive on the western portion of the map. I didn't see any entry point there, but I'm not going to complain. We'll put them near... I don't want to do that. All right, we'll put them here. We'll put Patterson a little bit further south. And then we're still going to converge on Rutledge Ridge. No reason to build any entrenchments, though, because our plan is still to advance. We're still on the offensive. All right, so we'll get Buell moving out of those woods near Robinson Hill. He'll move west of Rutledge Ridge, while Patterson continues moving down the roadways. Meanwhile, you can see these troops moving in no particular order. They're moving cross lots, if you will. They're moving across the countryside. There are no roads over here. So that would, I'm assuming, slow them up a bit. It's a pretty interesting sort of desolate country area. There's pretty high ridges you can see here just to the west of Rutledge Ridge. Like, these could be commanding artillery positions if we can get guns up there. But this is a very barren and yet hilly terrain. That's interesting. To that point, let's put the artillery up here. Oh shit, we found him. Pause. All right, so Patterson has stumbled upon the enemy, who appears to be in defensive positions behind Pepper Mill. These appear to be very strong defensive positions, although they may be pulling out now that they see Buell coming up. You can see this is a very intelligent position for the AI. Basically opposite of a creek, heavily dug in down a main road. They are withdrawing, it looks like, presumably because they can see Buell coming up to their rear. But we'll try to hold Patterson up here without engaging. Although maybe we should rush forward and engage if they are withdrawing. Oh, they're not withdrawing. Weird. Okay, guys. Don't really want to engage enemy skirmishers in strongly defensive. No, they are trying to. It looks like they're trying to withdraw, but maybe we've pinned them. I'm not really sure. I don't want to be attacking heavily fortified enemy troops like this, though. All right, where's the artillery division? Well, that's the battery. All right, artillery reserve, come on up. I'd like to get into those entrenchments. It would be great if we could just use them as cover. Also, if the enemy does have additional troops, if they've got their 2 armies here, then this may only be one of those forces. All right, move Patterson up there. So we've engaged enemy skirmishers. It looks like we drove them back. You guys go rush into those entrenchments. So this is kind of weird. It's like the enemy fell back and then realized maybe that was a mistake. Still, the defensive line itself was intelligently chosen. Meanwhile, Buell is still coming up here. Let's see if we can't. McDowell, take your division in a single line. We're going to try and come up to the rear of the enemy. Maybe they didn't see me, or maybe they do. I really don't know. Buell and Shields, I want you to... Oh, that's a brigade, not a division. Buell and Shields, I want you both to form up to the rear of the enemy. Let's have Anderson bring his division up and take that objective. Smith, you can move your division in there to support as well. And then Shields, you can bring your division over to the rear of the enemy. Let's put you guys on this fence line. The artillery up here to fire into the enemy rear. All right, let's see what's going on here. We can hear the engagement. So our boys did get into the entrenchments. Good for us. Surprised these guys don't get credit for the entrenchments. Change your fire to long range fire. That should bring those enemies into engagement range. The enemy may be trying to flank us. They do have one brigade here in those trenches. Third Pennsylvania is safely in the trenches. 6th Pennsylvania, not so much. These guys engaging. Alright, I don't want to race into these trenches. Yeah, there is a brigade here, Jackson's brigade. I don't want to race into close combat with those enemy troops. I don't know if Buell's going to be able to come behind the enemy or not in time. Didn't I order you to move over this way, McDowell? You are not moving in line. Okay, so Buell's 31,000 men largely out of the fight so far. But they might be able to close the noose on the enemy, and it'd be amazing if we could force an entire enemy army to surrender. That would be great. Cooper's brigade's lost over 600 men so far. Gregg's brigade about 300. No. Don't do that. Pull back. I don't want you to... I thought you could just engage from where you were. Alright, they're pulling out of that trench line, so we're gonna move these troops in. Or maybe they're just readjusting, I can't really tell. These guys are firing. So my artillery in Patterson's force is firing. So it looks like it's mostly just the 3rd Pennsylvania, which is trading fire with enemy troops in the open, while the 3rd is in cover. 6 is also taking some losses. So we basically have 2 brigades engaged while we're moving 2 divisions toward the rear of the enemy. We are currently in the process of capturing Rutledge Ridge, which may or may not spawn a enemy withdrawal. But if they do pull back, I do have troops on the way that I think will intercept them. So these 2 divisions, the 1st division is about 6,000 strong, the 3rd is about 7,500. So we've got 13,000-ish troops moving to the rear of the enemy. I'm gonna exhaust them. I'm gonna try and get them to move on the double to get them there more quickly. And then Greg's cavalry really should have already been up there, so we'll send them up on the double also. The artillery batteries are going to be on the heights to the rear of the enemy. And we'll see what's going on here. This can't be the entire enemy force. This is just one brigade, I think. Pretty good amount of rifle fire going on here with Greg's brigade. Yeah, and this is the AI has typically used entrenchments and whatnot effectively. So this is a little bit of a surprise, I think. They weren't very smart in how they fought this battle, and so I think that's the 2nd brigade we've routed with heavy loss. That one's another brigade losing over about 1,000 men. We'll try to get the 6th Pennsylvania to move forward into these entrenchments so that they can gain a benefit. Taking some losses from some flanking fire while they move in. But like, these guys have, I would think they would get the benefit of being in entrenchments. Says the enemy's behind cover. Well, so are you, boys. To engage this cavalry. Either way, they're opening up. We will advance the 4th Pennsylvania a little bit to engage the enemy here. I'm still confused. Why do these troops get the benefit of cover, but the other troops don't? All right, they drove off this battery of artillery. You can see the guns were abandoned. What are Buell's troops doing? Go charge these boys. Enemy troops in the open, cavalry. Go get them. Don't give them anywhere to retreat to. Hit them, Kentucky boys. Getting a little close to the rear of that enemy line. Melee him. Oh shit, you're gonna be in range, aren't you? Sabers out! Oh boy, you're gonna get volleyed. Okay, boys. Now retreat. Alright, so they drove Greg back toward the Confederate lines. 3rd Division under McDowell is in position. The troops are... Doesn't look like they're tired. So we'll move them up here in the woods. Keep Greg in the middle here on the road. And we're going to move... Are these guys tired? Yeah, they're tiring. But we've got 2 divisions to the rear of the enemy position. Meanwhile, I'm going to move the 4th Division out this way as a blocking force in case any enemy reserves come up, because again, I'm not really sure where that other Confederate army is. Do we just have the 3 divisions? I thought we had 4. Oh, we do. Well, I'd rather keep the troops closer together. Part of me considered going after the other objective, but I think we should keep the troops closer together. And I'm going to start pressing the enemy here. And while we're engaging Stuart's cavalry and doing quite a bit of damage to these dismounted men on the enemy left. Could withdraw to the west. Should get Sumner in position over here to try and tighten the noose. So what we're going to do here is we're going to deploy Sumner over here. I'm going to tell his boys to go on the double, since apparently they're not tired yet. And we're going to bring Robert Anderson's division forward here, and they're going to form a line to link up with Shields' division. Trying to get in behind them before they can squirt out. Anderson up on the double. All right, so Stuart's cavalry's been driven back also. 500 casualties on their end. Meanwhile, DeRossi's brigade and Gladden's brigade both losing heavily. Although, actually, Negley may be about to break. I still don't understand why his troops don't get credit for being in cover. Advance the other 2 brigades that have less fatigue here. I'm going to bring the 4th Pennsylvania up to fire into the flank of Gladden's troops. God damn it, they're broke. Really need to assign perks to some of these troops. 6th Pennsylvania move out this way to take the place of the 6th, or this 3rd Pennsylvania take the place of the 6th, which just broke. They did suffer pretty heavy casualties. We're going to move this division up. Should have enough time to recover from their tiring, and they have. Why are these guys halted? 4th Division, come up. getting hurt. Keem's division. How are these guys in my rear? Where did these guys come from? Reynolds' battalion of artillery is just like behind us. Keem's division has lost over 1,000 men. They're unstable. They did drive back Rockbridge's artillery here and are now engaging Jackson's brigade. Meanwhile, these Confederates here that had been occupying these defensive works in front of Cadwallader's division have been driven back. So it looks like Gladden's brigade's been routed, Buford's battalion's been routed, Cooper's brigade's been routed, Gregg's brigade routed. The only reason I think we haven't, like, quote unquote won the battle yet is because I think the enemy has another like army here somewhere, or another force. All right, so move your division forward now into these woods. Swing shields over. Buell's army's done basically nothing so far. But that's just because where they deployed. Much we could do about that. Eagley's low on ammo. These guys are nervous, but they are engaged with the enemy and trading blows. We're gonna move McDowell up on their flank. Working on moving these troops in to block the retreat of the enemy. Problem is with these woods, I can't really use the cavalry all that effectively. But I'm trying to close the noose. Dowell's kind of going to be the anvil that we smash them all into. Still no sign of any other enemy troops? Oh shit, are they to our north? Looks like there's at least one brigade of artillery in our rear. So this must be the other unit. I don't know where they came from. But if we rout half their army, I'm not sure it matters. Patterson, why don't you try and rally the 6th Pennsylvania? First division up this way. Artillery is not really taking any casualties. Let's go ahead and deploy them to the rear. Turn to face the enemy that might be coming toward us. 5th Pennsylvania's taking a good deal of casualties, but they're doing a good job holding for now. Their morale hasn't broken yet. Where are these guys going? You guys move east. These troops north. Don't let these bastards get out of here. 6th Pennsylvania is now retreating to the south. Right, go charge that enemy battery. Maybe we'll capture some of them, or just kill them all. Melee 'em. These guys are escaping to the north. I feel like the key to closing this gap is going to be moving these troops over here. Move on the double. charged my cavalry into the rear of the enemy, trying to do as much damage as I can with it. But like, these guys are retreating to the north. Rebel troops are to our north. Question is, like, how hard do I want to push on these routing enemy troops if they're just going to find a escape route, right? Right, so we broke these other guys, looks like. There's only one brigade of enemy infantry. Oh, nope, they're all routed now. The enemy is retreating. So the other army we didn't even engage. I'm just going to try and melee everybody. Maybe that'll cause them to surrender. I don't know that we have enough time to close the distance on all these troops. But like some of them. Surrender, you bastards. You've got nowhere to go. Come on. It'd be great if we could just get a couple enemy brigades to surrender. You'd think, like, if the problem is the battle's going to end probably before we convince them to give up. But they've all lost better than 50% of their troops, and they don't have anywhere to go, so... It only counts as a minor victory, mainly because there's a whole 10,000 man force we didn't engage. We inflicted over 7,500 casualties, so we inflicted like better than 50% casualties on the force we engaged. So if that other enemy army hadn't been there, it would have been a decisive or a major victory. You can see of the total force, the enemy lost 75 of their 32,000 infantry, 1,000 of their 1,500 cavalry, 20 of their 50 guns. Unquestionably a disaster for the Confederacy. 9,000 total casualties. We lost 2,200. I'm guessing a large number of those Confederate losses are wounded and may come back into their service, but the guns are lost, and there's that. So almost 5-to-1 casualties. That was a pretty good victory for us, despite the fact that the game only classifies it as a minor victory. So Grafton is going to fall to us, which I'm assuming will result in Western Virginia maybe seceding, or at least us taking Western Virginia. Patterson's gonna get all the credit for that victory. Colonel Stewart loses a face. I mean, that's the Confederate Colonel Stewart. Oh shit. So let's go up here and take a look. Results of the Battle of Grafton. The Army of the Shenandoahs retreating in panic. My command has earned us a total victory with the enemy army running for their lives. The enemy reportedly suffered a total of 8,800 men lost. 1,100 of those are killed. 0 captured. Their morale is believed to be stable. We lost 2,200 men, 381 killed, 337 missing. We captured 4,400 rifles and 10 guns from the battlefield. Doesn't really seem that, like, capturing rifles does anything for you, by the way. All right, so they are routing. The Army of the Northwest lost 5,000 men. They have 17,000 left. Army of the Shenandoah has 8,000 casualties, 7,600 left. No, come on, come on, come on. They can't retreat behind me. What the fuck? Game, don't be dumb. The Army of the Shenandoah is retreating west toward Ohio. Use the damn trains. we not taking Grafton yet? We're not close enough? Like this is one of those bullshit things. They're gonna move into Virginia or into Ohio after losing. They're just gonna sit there. The Pony Express closes. Okay. I don't think that's my industrial policy, right? No, we've got 16 more days on that. Can we just take Grafton? I know your readiness sucks, Patterson, but come on. By the way, whatever happened with that bombardment? Fort Macon is down to 56% condition. Okay. Okay. I don't know where my fleet went. It's like the home squadron's withdrawing. So let's take the Atlantic blockading squadron, which has far more firepower, and go bombard Fort Macon. I'm guessing we might have another battle here versus the Army of the Shenandoah. No. Rearguard actions. Now I can't move the Army of Ohio because of low readiness. Okay, there's going to be another fight near Grafton before too long, I think. All right, meanwhile, what else is going on? Nothing as far as I can tell there. Missouri State Guard withdrew southwest. No, actually we'll stay where we are. Gotta keep St. Louis safe. For now anyway. Alright, so not a lot of other armies spotted or anything. Looks like these enemy armies are withdrawing east towards central Virginia. Buell in theory could move on Grafton, but I think I'm going to let Patterson do it. Just to prevent any kind of flanking maneuver. Once his readiness is high enough. Oh shit, Hampton's division's moving. Where is he moving? Is he trying to split our lines? He's got 17,000 men. I don't think I can move Mac. His readiness is too low. It's late October, by the way, and the weather sucks. Where are you going, Hampton? Mexico under threat of invasion. The British and French are sending troops. Monthly economic report. Let's take a look at that. Okay. It's an economic recovery. Wealth is increasing. Tax revenues increased. Government liabilities stayed the same, but our credit rating dropped. Hampton, where are you going? South Carolina State Militia is also advancing. They're going to try and hit me in two places at once? Battle of the Atlantic has ended with Page's squadron retreating. The engagement was a remarkable strategic victory. The enemy fleet steamed to safety if their harbors. Okay. Where was this? Port's being repaired. No, it's not. I'm going to bomb the hell out of it. Major Reynolds has recovered from his injury. All right, meanwhile, what's happening in Virginia? Hampton appears to be moving west against the Army of the Valley. So they're going to have a numerical advantage, almost 2-1 there. The Army of the Potomac is kind of stuck in place. Their readiness is crap. I could transfer a division, but the South Carolina State Militia seems to be making a move against us also. I think, did I raise a brigade of... All right, let's move these guys south to Grafton. I think, I'm not sure how quickly the Army of the Potomac can send troops to us, but I'm thinking maybe we'll send 1 brigade of troops. I think we can lose 1 brigade of troops. It'll take 2 days. I don't know that they'll arrive before the battle or not. They did arrive. Okay, awesome. So those troops arrived. So we've got about 12,000 men to face off against Hampton's 18,000, while the South Carolina State Militia is making a late fall, early winter offensive against us as well. So we're about to fight a battle here with the Army of the Valley against Hampton's division. I think that's going to do it for today's video, however, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this return to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This game comes out of early access on September 24th. So just a couple days away now, and it's a really interesting little game made by Oliver Keppelmuller, and I'm enjoying this campaign quite a lot. I do have a complaint that I feel like the enemy just keeps moving on you, and it's kind of like, well, it's November. Shouldn't you guys settle down to winter quarters? I think the Fredericksburg campaign's the only campaign in the war in the East anyway, where either army was moving in the winter. So, yeah, that's sort of my thought anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.